Well, hello once again, everyone. Thank you all for joining Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show. We're so glad that you joined us today. Look, we've already got people chiming into the chat before we even went live. Tom, thanks for joining us. Glad to see you here. And everyone, let us know where you're chiming in from. You know, we always talk about this community of HVAC refrigeration and building sciences. You know, we're all here to learn about the changes that are happening around us in so many different aspects. You know, we can talk about times where maybe we had a refrigerant transition, or maybe we had new technology coming out, or maybe we had like a refrigerant that was getting moved away. Well, that's not the case in today's world, right? We have so many things happening all at once. We've got technology transitions. We have refrigerant phase downs. We have a lot of new technology coming to the industry. So we have a lot of education that needs to stay, apprised of, right? It's what we do every week. We just come together and we go, what do you need? Because we're going to find it for you so that you have it in one place, right? So we've had our good friends from HVACRedu.net on before. Chris Compton, Todd Klur, how you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Doing great.
So the last time we got together, we were, spending time talking about new 3D e-learning content, right? Which is a lot of us are going to e-style content to make sure we have things for our classroom. Or we also hear from a lot of, educators, hey, my class time is reducing. How can I get all this content in? And we go, well, you take advantage of the time that you have and do as much of your hands-on in class, and you do assignments, right? Yeah, there's a time, how about you guys? I know there's a time when all I did was went home to do assignments, right? Kenya joining in, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us, Benson. So let's talk a little bit today about e-learning and resources for e-content, right? So if you don't know, we have our own e-learning site. So we have let me just hop in here real quick, bring this up. We have the HVACR E-Learning Network brought to you by the ESCO Institute. So we have had a ton of content. We really started building this pre-COVID, but when COVID hit, boy, we just put everything out all at once and made things accessible. And so we've had a whole lot of reconstruction. Hey, look at there's Renee chiming in right now. So we've had Renee and Lisa just going to town, rebuilding the e-learning network and just making it a hub of educational opportunity for you. And so now we're actually adding in our partner pages, and we want you to know what this is. So in our partner pages, we're in the process right now of adding through new content from HVACRedu.net. And we want to show you what that looks like so you can find these resources, right? We build a lot of content here at ESCO. We're also rebuilding some of our existing content. We have new things that are going to be coming out that's like from ground zero. But there are places that we don't have a lot of content, and that's where our partners come into play. We have people all the time going, hey, what about commercial refrigeration? Hey, what about chillers? Hey, what about boilers? A lot of different opportunities to add additional content. So let's talk a little bit about what we're adding in here, right? Todd, let's hand this over to you and let's kind of take a peek at some of these courses that we're actually talking about.
Sure.
And then we'll have Chris kind of dive into, what some of these are and where they came from, because a lot of these are very near and dear to my heart. So very glad to be here with this.
Absolutely. And welcome everybody who's chiming in. Glad to hear. Now, how Clifton got to this e-learning website, of course, you could type in the HVACR.e-learning.network, or you could go access it right through the ESCO home website. Right up here is a little e-learning tab. Click on that, and it launches where Clifton was just showing you on the flip card. And here it is, and the partners are right here. Now, this one's a little outdated, and I think we got Renee and Lisa working on this. It says coming soon, but in fact, it is not coming soon. It is live, and it is right here once you click on it. So this is the partners page for HVACR-EDU. And here's a little about HVACR-EDU. But if you come down here, you scroll down, we have a few courses that we offer through the ESCO e-learning website. And those advance from building automation, Metasys, commercial refrigeration, you were just talking about, rack tech, chiller mechanic, boilers. And, some people say boilers are dying art, but not in the industrial refrigeration side. We still got to heat the water and water treatment. And of course, all some more program type applications and Espanol. So great stuff. And we have this in our master catalog. You can go here, but if you want, Chris is going to take the floor here. But it kind of spawns off to what each one of these programs are individually.
Exactly. So let's talk about that just for a minute here for people that are looking for the content, right? So that's a good one to have. I'm gonna hop over to another screen real quick too, where I kind of broke those down so that we got them on bigger slides, so we can kind of hit the highlights and look at what we're offering here, right? Because we have so many opportunities in the commercial side of our world. And I've had these conversations with the UA just a couple months ago. We were talking about this, especially with Rich Minkowski, and we're talking about different opportunities to work on commercial and industrial equipment. And I know for myself, it was a long voyage to get there. At the time, I didn't know much about the UA, and there wasn't much of a union presence in my area. So most of our industrial and commercial work was non-union. And it's like, how do you even get into that, right? If I'm a program and I'm trying to prepare my students for the different opportunities that are around me, who do I even go to learn about the things that they're going to encounter when they get out there? And so that's what it kind of boils down to, is what kind of programs are we talking about? So Chris, let's talk a little bit about the building automation systems program that you have. And I also have, if we talk about, the different content that goes into that, we're talking about a pretty robust curriculum. So tell me a little bit about the program and, what students anticipate when they get into the building automations program at hvacredu.net.
Sure. Well, first of all, we've had the good fortune to be working with one of the best subject matter experts in the nation. That would be Ron Ottle.
Yes.
He is our SME, or our subject matter expert for our BAS program. And he's crafted several programs with us over the past 10 years or so. The thing that's great about our subject matter experts is that they're not only very accomplished senior technicians, but they're also very accomplished senior educators.
Oh,
that have
good combination.
Not only, it's a great combination. You can have the most technical person in the world that understands all this stuff, but then what about teaching?
How do you teach it?
Teaching it is exactly. Teaching is a practice, sort of like medical.
Yeah.
You have to have your experience, and you have to hone your skills in the teaching side. But the BAS program, for instance, is it's now 129 hours long. It's not a small project.
No, it's a lot of work.
But it's designed. But it is, yeah. Well, it's not a small subject either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's designed to get people into the BAS occupation. There's huge demand for it, nationwide, worldwide, and it's also a generic course. We don't specify any particular control system.
Controller.
We just cover controllers. Yeah. We just cover the different aspects of a building automation system, the interaction, the interconnections, the what do you call it? Inputs, outputs, troubleshooting, etc. The way to look at this program is, if you look at an individual course, you will see it's listed with the course, and those are the modules in the course program. There's 7 courses, and everything we do is presented in other words, starting at the beginning and consistently building up the learner of the system. Very
modular
sequential.
education. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And now, do we want to go through any samples of these while we're here today, Todd, or we want to skim through them first and kind of talk about each one?
Let's skip through them and talk about them first, unless Chris has a desire to actually dive into the true content.
Right. Oh, and a question came in from Matt. Matt, how much? Well, we need to go over to the site, and it has all the information for each of those. Hop into the e-learning network and come on over, and you'll see what is there for each one of these.
Yep, and there it is right there on the screen. And see if I can make it a little bigger.
One emphasize to anyone is that we have a thing called a free sample course.
Yes. And
in that free sample course, you do have to register for it, but it is free, and it gives you access in regards to the building automation program. I believe there's 3 or 4 modules, and a module in our terminology is a 3-hour chunk.
Okay.
But it gives you access to those, and you can take them as if you were an enrolled student. There's nothing trick about it. It's the straight stuff that you would have as an enrolled student.
Okay.
So that's a great way to stick a toe in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
And check it out.
And let's also not forget, Clifton and Chris, that all of our content, number 1, is accredited through HVAC Excellence.
Exactly.
Number 2, that all of our content is also CEH credit hours for those of us who hold NATE certificates.
Sure, absolutely.
And so you could accomplish out your 1 year or every 2 years, because it's biannual.
Yep.
Your biannual course hours with one single course.
So now let's take a look real quick while we're here. Let's look at where those free samples are so that people have an idea where they can check those out.
Let's see here. Help me out,
That would be homepage Blackboard.
Homepage Blackboard. That's right.
Blackboard on the homepage.
Right here.
Okay.
There you go.
Excellent.
Little Blackboard.
There you go. So you can just
click on the free sample. There you go.
Sure. So maybe once we get through the courses, if we want to kind of take a peek at a few of these, we probably won't have audio because we're doing a video player within a side of a video player, kind of within side of a video player. But we can at least kind of take a look at those and you can see where they are. But we wanted to introduce you to all these different courses so we can have an idea of what kind of content is there, because there's not a lot of commercial training out in the industry. All right, so let's hop back over real quick and let's talk about the commercial refrigeration. All right, this is the part that I love. So, I spent a good chunk of my career in commercial refrigeration. I spent about 5 years as a mobile engineer. Meijer grocery stores was my big one. So I actually had worked for Meijer for about 4.5 years. And so I worked on a lot of brand new stores. That was really my specialty. But I did a lot of rack refrigeration in our older buildings that were made in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. So when you go to get specialized training for commercial refrigeration, a lot of people think, oh, well, I have to go to learn from this manufacturer equipment, and I have to go to learn from this manufacturer equipment. Well, we always talk about, it really comes back to the fundamentals. If you get the understanding of the fundamentals and you see how things are designed, it makes it so much easier to understand the nuances between different manufacturers, right? Take a bicycle. If I learn how to work on a bicycle, does that mean that I can only work on that brand of bicycle?
Nope.
Right? Once I get my fundamentals understood and I understand the mechanics, we talked about this here a few weeks ago. If I know how something works and I know it well, it'll show me and tell me what's wrong with it.
That's right.
And so let's talk a little bit about the commercial refrigeration program. That's a pretty extensive course in itself. Covers a lot of the designs of commercial refrigeration and also gets into some compressor failure and analysis. So tell me a little bit about the commercial refrigeration course that we're now offering.
Be happy to. Like you, Clifton, commercial refrigeration is my hot button.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I got the Imperial Award for commercial refrigeration.
There you go.
As the top gun in the country in that topic area. But like I say, that was back in the day. Things have changed.
Yeah.
But have they? We say that all the time. Our fundamentals are still there. It's just the bells and whistles that change over time.
That's the beauty of everything, is the fundamentals are the fundamentals, and until somebody reinvents physics, that's that's what you need to know. You start with the fundamentals, you get those dialed in, and then have at it. You can just increase your knowledge inch by inch by working on different equipment, different systems, and so on. But the fundamentals all stay the same. Our commercial refrigeration program, I think, is a great program. It covers massive amounts of the commercial refrigeration market. We had the pleasure of collaborating with Dick Wers, who is a very well known subject matter expert in the commercial refrigeration world, as well as one of the leading authors on commercial refrigeration.
Absolutely.
I've known Dick forever, and he worked with us on this project. 141, Michael, and God forbid, but I put in the pressure enthalpy chart, and we go through that. I mean, come on, let's go, folks.
Sure. So we start at the fundamentals of refrigeration and keep on building those layers.
That's right. You got to start at the beginning and go up. 142 is mostly about common components that you would find in a commercial system: valves, expansion devices, condenser types, compressor types, and so on. 441 is where Dick kicks in, takes you through I think it's that's 8 modules.
I think it is 8
of commercial refrigeration.
Mm-hmm.
Say what?
I think it is 8. You're right.
Yeah. Anything you look at, you divide it by 3, and it comes out that way, because we do 3-hour modules.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
442 is 6 modules long. And then to cap everything off, we connected with Bob Feathers to do a video series on compressor teardown and failure analysis, which was fun. It was great. Bob Feathers, now retired and hiding in Florida, came up to the ranch, and we did this project. But Bob Feathers is Mr. Compressor.
Yeah,
he taught for Copeland and Emerson for years, all over the world. So we have a great program here. I don't think there's anything comparable.
Nice. All right, so we got commercial refrigeration. If we want to dive a little deeper in commercial refrigeration, we've even got access into chiller mechanics. So that is a hot topic for chillers, right? There's a lot of transitions for refrigerants in our chiller world as well. So we have technicians looking for advanced training to get into that market. So let's talk a little bit about the online chiller mechanic program as well.
Sure, chiller mechanic. You can see you can see the course titles here. The first one is sort of a quick session on just system maintenance, common maintenance processes on a chiller. Then we dive in with the most of these are reciprocating or screw package chillers, 25 to 150 ton.
And that's a lot of equipment.
And then, of course, if you got a chiller, they're usually hooked up to a cooling tower somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So we do a overview of a cooling tower maintenance, and then we go into the really big stuff, 150 ton and up. And of course, you're generally talking about centrifugals.
Exactly.
So this also was written by one of the leading subject matter experts with years of experience in servicing and maintaining chillers.
Cody, no, I tell you what, though, we have references for different contractors out here in the industry that's always looking for chiller technicians, because I'm telling you, it's quite the gig to get into. And when you get into chillers, you become a very high demand technician, and there's not a lot of training out there. I mean, I know of an ammonia training facility here in Indiana, and otherwise it's difficult to find true actual chiller programs that you can do at home. Now, there are some stationary chiller learning opportunities out there. Some of our manufacturers have training classes on brand specific, but when it comes to being a general chiller technician and understanding what we're working on, there's not a ton of content out there. That's why we wanted to make sure that we could equip you with this content.
And on that Clifton, just because there might not be a job placement, something that we've talked about trying to do, and I won't go down that rabbit hole. However, you hit the nail on the head, Clifton, is you become very hireable, very desirable. Yeah. And with that very hireable, very desirable, you can name your number of what you want to make.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about some more high demand jobs that we've got training for here as well. Let's talk a little bit about this Medisys Tech program.
Yeah, Medisys. This is actually the only OEM program that we have developed to date. Of course, Medisys is a program. We felt that it's common enough out in the world that this would play well with our students.
Sure,
it's something they can take at home. It covers the four main polars, I guess, in the Medisys system. So we just took a shot and see how it would work, and it's been working very well, actually. Yeah. We have a number of students that sign up for Medisys. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And based on just the comments that you just made, one of the things that thrills us is to get somebody up into a higher paid job. I've said it a million times. There is no glass ceiling in this industry. You can go as high as you want, and you can go as fast as you want. It's primarily dictated by how well you want to study, how hard you want to study, and progress. But there's literally no limit. I mean, you can just go for it.
Well, that's why we wanted to add these options and to show everyone that's already utilizing our e-content, what resources that you have. It's all about setting you up for success. Whether you're an educator and you're looking for programs to bring in as supplement for your opportunity. Say you're doing advanced refrigeration classes and you're wanting to add some chiller fundamental stuff into that. A better opportunity than use a universalized chiller training course. Well, what about a technician? If I'm a technician and I know ESCO, because a lot of people know ESCO from things like the EPA, and they know A2Ls, and they know the heat pump. They know a variety of different courses from ESCO, but they are wanting to advance into those next stages in their career. And they go, well, what resources? Who does this? And so that's the whole point.
Yep.
Bringing these resources up front to make them available for everyone.
And directly through the ESCO e-learning website with your partners page.
You're already there. So here's another one. Todd, you kind of mentioned this early on. When we start talking about boilers, there's still a huge demand. There's a lot of boilers that are not going away. Remember, when we start talking about the decarbonization and electrification, doesn't necessarily mean that they're the same thing. Sometimes just in decarbonization, we're looking for alternative fuel sources, especially like in fuel oils, things to be able to power equipment that has less carbon emissions. So we're not talking about completely ditching everything that's carbon-based fuel and going 100% electric. We're just not quite there yet. No. So we have a lot of technologies that we need to understand, particularly when we get into the boiler sector. Boilers are not going away anytime soon. Yeah. So we're going to have a significant demand for people to understand how to work on boilers. So let's talk a little bit about the boiler tech.
And that's true, Clifton, with the boiler tech program, or just boilers in general. I mentioned it's a dying art, but it's not really. It is on the residential side.
Yes,
as we're going away and we're getting BE, building electrification. But on the commercial and industrial sides, boilers aren't going anywhere. We still got to be able to heat up this water, this massive water, to large buildings and deliver that hot water respectively.
Sure. What if we convert from our natural gas over to more natural fuels? what if we start looking at like hydrogen fuels? And we've already seen in places around the world they're converting natural gas lines over to hydrogen supply lines so that we can still utilize these larger pieces of equipment that are firing.
And it's still a boiler, just a different fuel.
It's just a boiler. That's all that it is.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, with the boiler tech program is a great overview. I acknowledge. We have a number of courses. I think there's like 11 there. But the boiler systems is we're talking about either hydronic hot water or we're talking about steam. And with those type of systems, there's all kinds of doodads and thingamajigs that are involved with the entire system. You've got incredible amount of valving, backflow preventers, watchdogs. The list goes on. In water treatment, the list goes on and on.
Sure.
Boilers are not going away soon. As a matter of fact, in my own home I have an electric boiler, and in my studio
absolutely.
here we have electric boiler. We have an electric boiler at radiant floor. It's wonderful.
Okay.
But there's the boilers, all the other things that are related to the different types of pipe systems. The list goes on and on.
Closed loop, control loop, open loop, etc. Yeah. That's our aim with the boiler systems or boiler tech program. One thing I'm going to throw out there is we have just signed up with a new SME who has worked boilers and service boilers and top boiler decades. And we're pretty excited about that. We're going to be significantly.
There we go. That's the things that we're here for.
High pressure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the way
so
up
for
to
those looking for boiler trainings, we're ready to go right there. Now let's get into the rack tech program just a little bit, because that's something I was very interested in when we get into the commercial refrigeration side.
Rack tech. I love rack tech. I used to take care of racks everywhere. I was a rack. It's just, I remember walking in the machine room the first time, how, and they still do that. They sort of say, okay, you're a technician, go fix that. And I walked into this machine room that had a Hussmann rack in it. And ultimately, about a week later, I figured it out. But it was, I had my magic marker and I just went around and started drawing arrows on pipes. I get where things went. The rack tech
but how do you get started in it?
Basic refrigeration.
Yeah, that is true too.
Refrigeration cycle. But
it's just you have parallel versus series type compressors, and we got to make sure we got to worry about our oil returns and whatnot like that.
It's all of that. There's all kinds of, as Clifton knows, there's all kinds of different configuration racks. I've done programs where you have the low temp discharging into the section of the medium temp, compound systems. But we have a great SME here with racks. I intended to write this myself, but I could never get the time.
Yeah, I could see that.
So we hooked up with Bob. Feathers, who has spent a good part of his career teaching and working on racks. So Bob goes through this very sequentially. As you can see, he covers the main components of a rack, the different piping arrangements, the valve, etc. So I think this is a great program for anybody that's working racks or anybody that needs to get started on racks. Yes.
Right. Where do you begin? Because I was in that exact same spot, and I can really appreciate that. What happens when, actually, you're talking about that, and I was actually going through my photos, and I was thinking, okay, what happens when you walk into the room and you go, okay, here you go have fun, right?
Yeah.
How do you prepare for that kind of an environment? A lot of people want to get into larger commercial refrigeration. They see it, they go, oh, this is so cool. Then what do you do when you actually are ready to get there? And for me, I still think that was kind of the epitome. That was like the peak of my career. That's where I invested the most time in learning different pieces of equipment. Hey, thanks for joining us from Spain. We appreciate it.
Wow.
That's where we, learned a larger scale of just refrigeration. Now, I did have good mentors that was able to go, hey, it's just refrigeration. It's just on a big scale. But you're right. There's a lot of bells and whistles. There's a lot of nuances that need to be learned. And to do that, it's going to take some investing in yourself to learn what that equipment is. So I actually, till this day, my old boss will still call every once in a while. Hey, you know any rack refrigeration guys? You know any grocery guys? It's like, no, it's starting to become somewhat of a dying art because the people that got into rack refrigeration and grocery refrigeration, it's just kind of like with chillers and boilers as well. When you get into these professions and you become good at it, you become such high demand that you kind of stay there. I didn't know that I would ever leave that environment. I honestly didn't. It wasn't until I had a recruiter reach out and go, I think you're supposed to be an educator and you missed the bar. And I'm like, no, I'm good doing what I'm doing. It pays really good. It's a great career. So it took me a change in life to step away from that. But the environment, when you get to that environment, it is such an amazing place to work. And there's not a lot of training. I can remember when I got into the commercial refrigeration side, I developed. And first time I walked into a rack room, well, just like that one right there, first time I walk in, I go, wow, okay, where do I begin? And sometimes you figure it out. It is. It absolutely is. So it's nice that we've got a course available for rack tech because that is an extremely high demand job. I can call any service company right now that works on grocery refrigeration racks and they would hire someone in a heartbeat that has some experience or has some education on rack refrigeration. So we've got a pretty extensive course. We're covering a lot of different topics on that one. So another fantastic lineup in our e-learning courses. All right. What else we got here? I didn't grab all of these. I just, once we started looking at what was online, I didn't even grab the last ones, but I do want to, before I hop out of this slide deck, make sure anyone that's looking for contact information, that have some further questions, want to dive a little bit deeper, want to get a hold of Todd, want to get a hold of Chris on some things. There's a phone number for the office, a couple emails. I know, Todd, you've got some. Let's go back and take a look at some of these courses now once we actually head on over to the site. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that screen back up for you.
These courses are simply in our course catalog, if you want a master catalog.
Right.
And this is available right on our website. Oops, wrong one. Let's go right straight to HVACR EDU.
Okay.
Go to our home page, and if you go to the About, of course, the free sample courses there.
Sure. And we'll come back to those here in a minute.
Sure. And so if you go up here to the About, and it says right here, View Our Master Catalog.
Yep.
You click on that. I'm not going to click on it. I'm going to go over here to where I have it open already. And you can go through here. Okay, we can learn a little bit about a few of these things, your table of contents and everything. We even have an apprenticeship program for those who are interested in apprenticeships.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that. I want to hold the break just for a second because I seen that myself and I thought I want to learn a little bit more about this.
I got to pass baton to Chris
on this one.
Oh yeah, that's his baby. So
okay.
There's your apprenticeship program, Chris.
That's just one of my babies, Todd. It's just one of them.
That's right.
But that's a baby that's been around for a while. We launched the first online HVACR apprenticeship program in 2005. Back a ways.
Yeah.
We are recognized by Department of Labor Office of Apprenticeship. We are recognized by a number of state boards or states that have boards that regulate apprenticeship programs. We're currently being utilized in 26 states by employers in 26 states.
Nice.
it's in my opinion, apprenticeship for entry-level development is the best model, because you're earning and learning, as they say.
Sure, absolutely.
We set up this initially, and we're vetted by a whole slew of employers to launch it. And then over the years, of course, technology changes. So, it has to be to other stuff, so to speak. The other thing that changes is our ability to incorporate more modern types of things that you can do online. In 2005, you couldn't do half of the stuff you can do online now.
Oh yeah, all the modeling and all the different, coding that we have now. Things have changed drastically when it comes to online education.
Yeah,
that is true.
And the other thing we do often with the apprenticeship program is we'll have an employer come to us that he's not strictly residential or anything like that. He has a very specific work scope, so to speak. And we've done this numerous times where we'll customize an apprenticeship program for an employer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To cover his primary work
their scope of work. Yeah. Awesome.
Certainly you have to cover the fundamentals because they apply to everything.
Absolutely.
But after you get beyond that, then we can customize. We have a choice from 2,300 hours of curriculum.
Sure. So it's just a matter of building the package that fits you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been very successful and continues to grow.
Yep. Right. And a lot of what Clifton had up on the screen earlier, the course catalog, just simply master catalog, simply goes through these and gives you a description, what courses you get. Very similar to if you were going to a community college, you get a course catalog. That's what.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what this is. And you saw that Metasys, a lot of the programs that we've already talked about, and really great stuff in here. Rack Tech, Chiller Mechanic, and of course where we just finished off is Boiler. Yes.
Yeah, sure. These are the program packages. They're up towards the beginning of the catalog. But then if you go down into the weeds of the catalog, there's a course description for everything.
Yes.
Just look it up by course number and you'll find the full description of the course.
So each individual course, here, individual courses.
Yeah.
We can go through here.
Sure. Yeah. All the additional courses.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a larger description.
Correct.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, let's go back up then and let's see if we can't pull, I know we won't have any audio, but let's see if we can pull any of the actual samples, the free samples of the courses, just to kind of give our audience an idea of what type of content we're actually looking at.
Now, it might not, it wasn't paying or giving me, let me do it. It kept putting me as admin, so I may have to log out.
Okay.
Let me see if I log out.
That should have had you there.
Yeah, but it keeps bringing me to admin, so I logged out. Yeah, it's going to make me do it.
Just of a generic, yeah.
Oh boy, there it goes. Yeah,
well,
it's pulling me in admin.
What our free sample course is, essentially, is we went through and 3-hour modules from 29 of our courses as a sampler. So like a chocolate, a box of chocolates, right?
Yeah.
And we arranged them in 3 categories: fundamental, intermediate, and advanced. And for those that want to look at our advanced stuff, like the BAS or the boilers or commercial refrigeration, so on, they will. I don't think you're there, Todd.
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, we can go. This is the sample course, and it looks a little bit different because I have admin.
Right.
admin, but yes,
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
It is their
You do.
example. Let's just go into
The scroll. Yeah.
we can go
Scroll down
to
to the advanced.
okay.
I just want to, for people that are interested in the advanced programs, there's 154, 150. Those are courses from the BAS.
Yeah.
Building
Yeah,
automation, so on. But the important thing, as far as I'm concerned, is go try it out. See if you can learn
Yeah,
that
exactly.
way.
Get in here and explore because the e-learning environment is a little different for people who aren't exposed to it already.
Right. And of course, with all of our content, you do have the ability to audio play this if you don't want to read. It's whatever you prefer. But I'm more of a reader than listen to the audio because I can read a little bit faster than the audio. But you have the option, and just goes through here. And looking to see if I could find one that has a link, Chris. You can always upload or expand any of the images that are expandable. But I was looking for. See, I don't know if the audio won't play here.
Exactly.
But they're going to talk about compressors.
Sure. So we'll have embedded video that is part of the e-learning module. And that's the beauty of e-learning, is that it's blended content. So it's not like we're just sitting and watching a webinar, and that's what we're doing. Although we're all sitting here watching a webinar right now, but we can embed different components for different types of learners. So we've got reading, we've got visual, and we've got some audible.
Try to get all the sensories. Exactly.
Exactly.
You're not going to get taste and smell, unfortunately, but get as many as get 3 of the 5.
Exactly.
That's coming. That's coming.
Oh, someday it's a matter.
Sooner than later.
Exactly.
But you can see, I mean,
probably.
And of course, what's really nice about the 150 courses is they parallel Ronnie's book.
Oh, okay.
For those of you who may even have this book already, if not, you can get it. But it's the 4th edition.
Yep.
It parallels Ronnie's book, and these go right out of it. So.
No, and we a lot of our courses include or programs, I should say. They include a textbook.
Yeah, and recommendations. I've noticed that on a lot of. I've even seen our own textbooks as recommendations inside of there. So
correct.
You're on it. Yeah, we have as many ESCO's ebooks as we can find attached to our different courses.
Absolutely.
And some of our courses, also, Chris, don't forget that they are ILTs. So we do 1 or 2 ILTs usually a year, sometimes more, depends. And Ronnie will do a live webinar and follow along
in conjunction with it.
And we have a lot of those recorded.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So the ebooks are great. They're right there in the course.
Yeah, and they're right.
Good online instructional design dictates supplemental text.
Yeah, absolutely.
So ESCO's ebooks are great.
I think 143 has an ebook.
Probably.
And that is worth showing while we're here. Any questions from anyone out in the audience? I know a lot of times we spend time going through instructional on our show, but this is an opportunity more so to help you see what the resources are and what is available to you all through the HVACR Learning Network. So if you have any questions you want to ask the guys while we're here, just hop on in the chat there.
Yeah, please. We encourage it. What does Renee got to say?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So all the reference materials.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, what else we got? That was our main things, is kind of hitting on the program, showing. Let's go back and do a recap of where things are once again, so people can see where we're at. So we'll go back. I'll grab a link over to the actual e-learning site. If anyone needs quick access to get over to the HVACR Learning Network, that's a quick way to get over there.
And partners.
Yeah.
Click right there. And I'm going to go straight there because it's there it is. So it opens up in here, and you can purchase anything right through the ESCO e-learning website for what's here. And if you don't see anything, if maybe you want an individual course or something that's not listed here, you have the ability to go to our website and purchase something directly as well.
Those a la carte.
We do have some upcoming news that I'm going to, be pretty light or close-lipped, but nonetheless, you'll be seeing us again soon. But we have some really big announcement coming up sooner than later, hopefully, with additional education. I'm not saying anything, but just a little. Be prepared.
So stay tuned for further resources from HVACRedu.net.
Okay, Todd, you did well.
There we go. So it's really a matter of showing you that you have additional resources, that ESCO is trying to build out all of these opportunities for you and gather them in one place, and just getting you connected directly with the resources for further information.
Yeah. With that, are there any questions from the audience?
That's what I think. Yeah, this is, like I said, more of a preview as we get deeper. Hopefully people go do some of the samples and sign up for some of the online classes and get a better idea what that content looks like. Anyone else out there have any questions for HVACRedu.net?
Well,
Chris, how about any last parting words? Tell us a little bit more about this adventure in online e-learning. I think you're kind of we're going to call you the grandfather of HVAC e-learning.
We got a question from Elisa.
I wish I was a grandfather. I should be a grandfather by now, but none of my kids are producing.
Oh
well. I thought I'd just go steal somewhere, but anyhow, don't
you can pick them up along the way. There's always people out there looking to learn. Yeah, one of the Lisa just came with the question: are they self-taught, self-paced courses?
These are self-paced courses. They're online on demand. However, we have two support groups for our students. We have student services that is there to support any kind of administrative issues, lost my password, I need a transcript, put me on hold, etc. And then we have live faculty who are available from 11 to 7 Pacific time, Monday through Friday. So they're available 40 hours a week. So you'd have to translate that to your own time zone.
Sure.
And they're available via toll-free phone or Zoom, a Zoom call, or email anytime. So that's our support. Most students, actually, the live faculty gets work pretty well. They're on supporting students every day, all the time. So they need support. If you don't have support, generally speaking, you don't have students.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned something out there about being on Pacific time. One of the things I did want to ask you about, in case there's anyone in the audience or anyone viewing this down the road from California, there's actually special opportunities for California residents through HVACRedu.net programs. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's about Q. Is a program that we launched through the auspices of the California Public Utility Commission in 2010. We've been in play in California for 13 years. What the program is it's funded by not tax dollars, by ratepayer dollars from ratepayers in the state of California. The goal is energy efficiency.
Sure.
Energy efficiency via HVAC and refrigeration systems. It's a 100% scholarship. It's available to anybody in California that is in the HVACR occupation.
Okay.
We are funded usually in 2 or 3 year blocks. We're currently funded now up until the end of 2024, so another year and a half,
Nice.
or a year and a quarter.
Sure.
All somebody has to do is go to the it'saboutq.net website. Q, by the way, stands for quality.
Right.
And enroll. What does it say? Join. I think what does the red thing say? Apply now. Yeah.
Okay.
Apply now. The one requirement that we have for anybody that applies is before they can progress They need to do an orientation with one of our live faculty, which takes 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
Last year, we turned in 20,000, a little over 20,000 completions in the state of California.
No kidding. Okay. So brings up a question. Is that linked through these same courses available through the HVACR Learning Network?
Yeah, the it'saboutq.net is basically a mirrored site with all the offerings that we have on our home site.
Okay.
So everything is the same that's available. Yeah.
Fantastic. So another reason for looking at courses from HVACRedu.net, particularly if you're in the state of California, come on over. We've got some interesting education opportunities for you.
I mean, just the same exact programs we were talking about: commercial building automation, chiller mechanic, rack, boiler, medicine, and apprenticeship, all through It's About Q.
Wow, that is fantastic.
We have trained. I don't know how many facilities techs in California. A lot of the college campuses, universities, and so on. School districts. What do you call it? Cities, counties, blah blah blah. Plus
municipalities.
a zillion contractor technicians.
Very, very, very cool.
They keep coming around.
And that scholarship program is funded by ratepayer money of the utilities.
Okay.
I said that.
Yeah,
I said that.
Under the CEC umbrella.
Okay.
Not your taxes. It's your ratepayer dollars.
Exactly. From the utility side of things.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. Anything else we want to dive into? We still got quite a few people out there. Anything else that we would like to mention while we've got everyone online?
I'm good. But if
any
other
last minute questions from the crowd? Still got quite a few people out there. I'm surprised we haven't had any more questions.
And if they do have any questions, geez, send us through an email, info@hvacrdu.net. Give us a phone call. We have staff support staff.
Online technical training is all about access.
It is.
That's what got me started in the first place.
All right. Well, I think that's about it, guys. We're getting close to the hour. Didn't quite get there, but that's a lot of content, a lot of resources, a lot of opportunities for everyone. So if that is it, I think we're going to wrap it up for the day. Todd, I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having
Chris, you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, once we get to the next hot topic, that's kind of the cliffhanger out there, we'll have to regroup and talk about that again.
Indeed. Cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's right. All right, everyone. Yeah. Thank you once again for joining Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show, and we will see you next week. And I think we're actually going to be diving into some CO2 training next week, so stay tuned.
Ooh.
All right, everybody, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you all next week.
Take care.